Hello, welcome to the European Open briefing for Tuesday, February the 28th. I'm Rafi Boyajian, currency analyst at XM.com, and we're going to be taking a look at what's happening in the currency markets today. So we're seeing the dollar retreating a little bit today ahead of Trump's address in Congress later today, where he's widely expected to give a bit more details on his spending and tax plans for the US economy. In other currencies, the Australian dollar was boosted earlier today after data showing Australia's current account jumped into surplus in the fourth quarter. The euro is a little bit steadier, although it's managed to extend its gains slightly from yesterday, and this comes on the back of the latest French polls, which are showing the centrist candidate Macron extending his lead in the French elections ahead of his main rivals, although he's still behind Le Pen. The pound, though, is struggling, and this comes after some reports suggesting that Scotland may soon hold another independence referendum. But let's start today's briefing with the dollar-yen pair. We can see that a big jump yesterday for the dollar. That came after the U.S. president announced that he wants to increase military spending in the United States by 9%. Although the military spending doesn't directly affect the economy too much, it did raise hopes that there will be similar big measures in terms of at least infrastructure spending and tax cuts. Although it's since drifted lower a little bit as traders adopt a more wait-and-see approach ahead of that speech later later at 9. It's going to be 9 p.m. in Washington time. I think it's going to be 2 a.m. GMT on Wednesday. In other news, we had the Fed's Kaplan yesterday speaking as well. He was rather hawkish. He said that it's better for the Fed to raise rates sooner rather than later. And when asked what he meant sooner, he said in the near future. So that once again raised the odds of a March rate hike. And the US equities, apart from the dollar, well, the dollar is actually like we mentioned, is only been making cautious gains. The main beneficiary of the current Trump stimulus talk has been US equities. The Dow Jones closed at a record high for the 12th straight session yesterday. Moving on now to the Australian dollar, we can see the Aussie. It only got a very small lift earlier today from strong trade data, and that's because mainly on cautiousness ahead of Trump's speech. So the dollar, although it's slightly down against the yen, it does seem to be doing slightly better against other currencies. Although despite that, the Aussie is still near 3.5 months highs. Australia's current account surplus was 3.9 billion in the fourth quarter. That's a big jump from the previous quarter, and it comes against expectations of a 3.6 billion deficit. Net exports contribution rose from minus 0.2% in the third quarter to plus 0.2% in the fourth quarter. So that's a sign that Australia's economy bounced back strongly in the final 3 months of 2016. And we will see that data tomorrow when the latest GDP figures are published out of Australia. And that's seen as positive for the Aussie because it shows that the Australian growth is back on track, and it also means that Australia avoided a technical recession after that. It basically confirms that the third quarter contraction was a one-off. Moving on to the European currencies now, and with the euro, we can see the euro did jump. It posted an impressive rally yesterday, going as high as around 1.063 versus the US dollar. It's since drifted back below the 106 level, currently trading around 1.0588. And again, that's mainly due to the stronger dollar now weighing on the euro. The euro was boosted after French yields fell back, reducing the spread between French and German yields, and that's mainly after the latest French polls, which showed that Macron, following his alliance with the with another centrist candidate. He seems to have increased his lead a little bit ahead of his rivals. He's still behind Le Pen in the first round, but the fact that he's doing better in the polls suggests that he's got a much better chance in the second round to beat Le Pen rather comfortably. But also worth mentioning that it also follows the failed alliance between the socialist candidate and the far left candidate. So it is looking like Macron is the main contender versus Le Pen for the time being. Looking at the pound hasn't been doing as well. It's been steadily drifting lower since Friday, and that's mainly on reports that the Scottish government may request a fresh independence referendum, and that could come as early as March, which would coincide with the UK's triggering of Article 50. Last week, the pound was boosted by the House of Lords debate, where they basically the Article 50 bill moved after it was passed in the House of Commons. It moved on to the House of Lords. There's some hopes that the House of Lords will manage to force the government to attach some amendments to the bill, securing certain safeguards, such as, for example, what will happen to the existing EU migrants in the UK. And also forcing the UK government to consult with UK Parliament more closely during the negotiation period. But now there's fresh worries that if the Scotland government is able to hold another referendum, it could potentially lead to the splitting up of the UK. As we know, back in 2014, the Scottish government lost the Scottish Nationalist Party lost that vote, but now there's fresh fears of another referendum coming up. Also worth mentioning that there's further evidence today that consumer confidence in the UK is deteriorating after a strong showing in post-referendum last year. It now seems to be softening slightly, and that is also weighing on the pound, which is currently trading at just about 1.24 level. Moving on to the UK's today's economic calendar, we had some Japanese data earlier today. It showed that Japanese industrial output fell for the first time in 6 months. It contracted by 0.8% in January versus expectations of a growth of 0.3%. Retail sales slightly beat estimates though. Coming up later today, we're going to have the second estimate for US GDP, followed by the Case-Shiller House Price Index, the Chicago PMI, and the Conference Board Consumer Confidence Index, though the main focus will be on President Trump's address in a joint address to Congress. That's going to be at 02 hours GMT. A few other Fed speakers worth mentioning. We've got the Harker, Williams, and Bullard also due to appear later today. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.